Good afternoon, everyone. Greg here from Pots and Petals. We are market gardeners. This will be our 5th year market gardening. We started out in town on a corner lot growing vegetables and selling to our local farmers market. Last year we took the year off to find a new property so that we could build an even bigger garden. And today I'd like to give you a tour of that garden as we get it started and get ready for this season. Let's get into it. We are going to start out on the south side of the property. This is where we made our first garden beds of the year. We just used a walk behind tiller and tore up the grass the best we could to try to get some earlier stuff into the ground, like carrots, beets, radishes, turnips, and green onions. We do have some cabbage in there as well. The weeds have kind of taken over, but we do still have some stuff growing. We have some regular onions there. Another garden bed over here. We did plant some flowers and stuff over here, and I don't think that they made it. So this is mostly cabbage and green onions. We'll head towards the back here, and this will be our flower garden. Jen has been hard at work at this, planting things like lilies, sunflowers, and dahlias. We are going to use the native dogwood bushes for our border. We got a bunch of those from the DNR. They are starting to grow, so that's fun. There's so many different things out here to watch grow this year. It's a shot of our barn. It's an old dairy barn built in 1943. It has a concrete second floor, which is interesting. I didn't know that they did that, but everybody's always asking about the barn, so we'll have to do a tour at some point. We've got a bunch of birds living in here. I think that's their little home there. Okay, and we will head towards the north side. It is about 2 acres, and it is where our main garden is going. It's another windy day out here. So where the corn is, basically right there is the edge of the property, and we planted red sumacs. Looks like they're starting to do something. That will serve as our border for this side, at least about 3/4 of the way down. We'll walk the edge of the property real quick just to show you where it ends. Most of this is just all red sumac. There is a few ornamental shrubs in here that we picked up. That's those down here. At the edge of the property here, there's 2 different farmers. One that farms that side, one that farms this side. So our edge of the property is right there. I've planted some Norway spruce trees through here. From this view, you can see our main field. It's set up into field blocks. Each block is 81 feet long. The rows are 36 inches wide with 36-inch wide walkways. So that gives us 14 rows per block. And there's 6 of those. So it's a decent amount of growing space for us. We'll head to this first block. We have some zucchini getting started. There's about 6 rows of those. And then it gets into onions and potatoes. I think I planted something like 60 pounds of seed potatoes. So there's 5 50-foot rows of those. And I've got a couple 50-foot rows of yellow and red onions. These 2 blocks over to my left are going to be melons and pumpkins and winter squash. We've never had this much space before, so it's really fun to finally get to plant out pumpkins and just let them go crazy and see what they do. This first bed is the first one I started working on out here, and it's probably the one that's doing the least. There is beets, cabbage, carrots, some green beans planted. I really haven't looked out here today. I was hoping to see some green beans coming up in these 2 rows, but not quite yet. But we are starting to germinate a little bit over here. I think this is just really hard. The soil's compacted. But it is starting to grow. I see some carrots coming up. Beans have been doing pretty good. Germination wasn't super great here, but something's growing, so I can't complain. Right before this block over here, we just got started with a little bit of asparagus, the Mary Washington variety, and there is some rhubarb down in front there. Kind of along this grass over here is where all of the raspberry and blueberry and blackberry plants will go. I intend to pretty much do about the whole thing. And then I'm gonna do something different down at the end, but still sort of in the realm of berries. Out front in this block, I've planted out tomatoes. We should have 7 50-foot rows of tomatoes. I still have 2 more rows to plant. I did a row of oregano and parsley here. We always wanted to have a set space for some herbs. We'll do another permanent row of thyme and sage at some point here as our seedlings get a little bigger. I direct seeded some green onions here. Green onions take a long time to do their thing, so I tried to get that in early. And then towards the back here, where I still have some planting to do, is where cucumbers are gonna go. This is trellis netting, something new that we are trying this year. In the old garden, we always used cattle panels. Cattle panels have continued to get more and more expensive, and this was an alternative. I don't know how well it's going to work. I think it's going to work great for cucumbers, and I think I'm going to try it for cherry tomatoes as well, but I would not use it for winter squash or anything too heavy, because I don't think the strings will really hold up. I think it's just barely going to do cucumbers is what it feels like. I did put a lot of cable ties on here. It feels like I could do some more. We have some tomatillos over here. That I will also try to use this trellis netting for. We are doing a Marketmore cucumber and a Space Master. There is also a Muncher cucumber, which is like a snacking cucumber, and then we have an English cucumber type variety. Some of these are coming up. I still have to direct seed a lot of this. We had some transplants that I planted. And then we get to the peppers. Should be about 7 rows of peppers when I'm done. I have cayenne, poblano, and shishito in this row. And then this next one is lunchbox peppers and serranos. And then I have some green bell peppers and some purple bell peppers here. Everybody just got planted, so they are very unhappy right now. Then in this one, we have Jedi jalapeno peppers, which is like a larger variety. And then we have some early jalapeno peppers. They're a little smaller, but they're a little more prolific. So I intend to use those for jalapeno powder and salsa. And then in this first row, we have Sugar Rush peach and Brazilian starfish. If you've never tried those peppers, they are fruity and spicy at the same time. Some of my favorites to grow. And then I have some Marconi sweet peppers at the end. I still have to get in all of the super hot peppers, so Carolina Reaper, Trinidad Scorpion, habanero, that type of thing. I think I'm just gonna do these 2 50-foot rows here. I just have to get some more trellis work done before I plant those out. I did something a little different with peppers this year. I wanted to do 2 rows on a 36-inch bed, but I didn't want to buy that many T-posts. So I had these old garden stakes laying around. So the idea was to use the main T-post for the main support and then run a string up and down all these garden stakes for support. And I think that's going to work out okay. I tried these just for the heck of it, the 4-foot bamboo sticks. I think I broke about 3 or 4 out of every pack, so I'm not sure yet if I'd recommend them. I'm not too much a big fan of these garden stakes either, but I think this will be a good setup for us this year. At the edge of our beds, we're going to put another walkway, and then we will start to plant some fruit trees up front here towards the road. We should be able to get a good amount of them. I don't think we're going to plant fruit trees until next year. So this space up front will largely just be anything else that we need to plant. So this was just a short tour today. I need to get some more peppers planted. I need to find some straw. I need to get to work on irrigation. Lots to do. Thanks for checking out this video, and we'll see you in the next one.